this lesson we're going to be looking at how to play the James Bond theme on guitar. So there's three parts to this song. There's the low bass line part, there are also some chords, and finally there's the main melody or the main theme that goes over the top of that. Okay, so let's look at the chords now that go over the top of the part we just looked at. So it sounds like this. Yeah, so that would go over, maybe if you had another person playing guitar, that would go over the bit that we looked at earlier. So these are chords, they're kind of free note chords. And again, you can use a pick or your fingers to play it, it doesn't really matter. And it's quite a light part. You're not going to hit the strings very hard when you play this. You don't want to be like... It's actually quite gentle, whether you're using a pick or your fingers. You want to hit them quite lightly like this. You might even want to play closer to where the frets are actually to get a bit of a lighter sound. We'll talk about that in a bit later. So anyway, these chords, like I said, all based on free notes, free strings. And all it is the last three strings on our guitar. So it's the G, B, and E string, the last three strings. They're the three strings that you're going to be playing each time. And you're going to be playing kind of a two note. You're going to hit each one twice. And it's going to change. 1, 2, 1, 2, that kind of thing. So this hand is always playing those three strings, G, B, and E. So if you're using your thumb, that's how you do it. Or again, you can use a pick and do the same thing. Yeah, so what we get is this. Maybe a bit faster depending on how fast the other part is, but it's quite quick. Something like that. So let's look at the frets that we need. Well, first of all, the first chord that we play twice doesn't need any frets. It's literally just the open strings on all three strings that we've talked about. So G, B, and E. So you literally just play those twice. Trying to hit all three strings at once, again, whether you're using a pick or your fingers. You don't want to hit them individually like this. You want one hit, all three strings. Yeah, but no fret, nothing on the frets at all. So nice and easy. So this is how it'd be with your thumb. So we just do that twice. So nice and simple. Then it's going to start pressing down on the strings, on the frets. So the first one we need is you need to find your B string. So second from last, B string. And we need the first fret on the B string. So that is right here. So again, second from last string on the first fret. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to keep that finger held down there, but all the other strings are going to be open strings. We're not going to press on any other frets here, just the B string. Okay, and what we're trying to get is this. It's again a small chord shape. It's actually a small C major chord. The difficult part with this is you want to just make sure that your first finger, the one that's pressing on the B string, you want to have it curled up a little bit. And what I mean by that is if you look at this finger for a second, if your finger's too flat like this, what's going to happen? You're going to catch the other string because you're just touching it gently with the flesh of your fingers, of your fingertip, and that's going to make that sound, which we don't want. So basically what you have to do with your finger is just, if you watch my hand, you just curl it up a little bit so your whole hand pushes forward a little bit, and that makes your finger kind of curl around slightly. You don't want to do it too much, you don't have to do it anything like that, but you want it so it's not touching the E string below, basically. That's the key, because if you do that, all three notes will ring out nicely and you won't get. So if you get that, move it up slightly and it should sound a little bit better. So that's something that you want to practice, getting used to that position with your finger. And also generally all the frets, all the strings on the first fret are a little bit tighter because it's closest to the tuners. So you do have to press a little bit harder whenever you play the first fret generally. So just make sure you're pressing nice and hard on the fret there. So what we've got so far is this: open strings, and then that first fret B string. They're the first two chords, okay? So you put that together, you get this. So that was twice on each, twice open, twice on the first fret. Okay, so the next bit, again, it's a pattern that repeats. So once you understand this, a lot like this part, it's quite easy once you get the frets, because it's just, you'll see, similar to that low part, it repeats over and over again. So we're on the B string, first fret. So all we do, stay on the B string, don't change strings, you just move up to the second fret. So still B string, and again, you're going to play G, B and E with your picking hand, and you get this chord. Sounds slightly strange, slightly mysterious, but that's how it's supposed to sound. So you're going to play that chord twice as well. So far what we have from the beginning is this. Yeah, again, make sure to curl your finger up so that it's not touching the high E string again, just like we did with the first fret. And we're almost done. We've only got a couple more bits left and we can put this whole part together. So far we got this. Again, twice on each one, twice, change, twice, change. The numbers would be 0, 1, 2, if you're thinking about it like in tab, if the notes are written that way. 0, 1, 2 as in first fret, second fret. So all we do to finish this is we just move back down to the first fret again. Same as we did before, same shape, still on the B string. And then basically it repeats. So you completely let go after you've played the first fret, and then it all starts over again. So what I mean, if I go from the second fret, back down to first, and then let go, and then start all again. So 1, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, back to 1, and so on and so on. So what you get if you put that all together, zero, 1, 2, 1, 0, and repeat and repeat. Okay, so that's all you do. Again, try and build up the speed. It's a little bit quicker. It's roughly about this. Again, you can just use one finger to play the whole thing with the hand that's playing on the frets, or what you could do is try and change with your second finger, slightly more tricky way. Change with your second finger to play that second fret. Again, getting used to using different fingers. So that would be like this. Again, making sure no matter what finger you use, trying to curl up on that B string in case you'll end up getting that. So that's it for this part of James Bond. Again, as always, start off slow, try and build up the speed, and this will fit nicely. If you've got a friend that's playing guitar, you can maybe get them to play this part if they've learned it. And try and put the two together. They both fit at the exact same time, and it sounds really cool once you put them together.